guys are here for the very first time. Some of you may be watching this in recorded video form. And what we're going to share with you this morning is an opportunity to work from home. Maybe the new way. I think that the traditional model was already in a period over the last decade of changing. Many jobs and small businesses were able to do things from home. But if you'll go to the next screen there, Chris, you're going to see that the opportunity to work from home is really unique. And let's just kind of run through some of the benefits real quick. Number one, if you have a home-based business, it's your business. I'm not talking about you're an employee for a company. I'm talking about you have your own business. You're working from home with your home-based business. Here's my favorite thing about it. And Chris, I know it's probably yours too, and that is you can work anytime you want to. I know, Chris, you used to have a business that employed 400 plus people in the manufacturing world. And when you do that, many times, Chris, I've heard you tell the story that there were 24-hour periods you never left the plant. Although you made good money, it consumed your life, didn't it?
Well, yeah, Todd, it was actually sometimes more than 24 hours. I would sleep at the plant at different times. And I've been asked that before with all the things changing in the country, would I go back to where I was before? And I can assure you, I never had any trouble. I made literally 7-figure income there, but I never had any time to enjoy it. I mean, it was either on call or the employee problems or just things going on at all times. And I never dreamed that I would be working from home. I've done this now for 18 years, and absolutely, it's been an absolute changer. It was something that was hard for me to fathom that it was even possible. But yes, absolutely. I would never go back to the conventional business world, even for twice as much money. It was just not worth it.
Yeah. And Chris, here's the second piece of the equation from working from home is that I was a football coach. I had no capital. I always tell people the only thing I had to invest is the dime that I found underneath my daughter's bed, because I had a wife at home with 4 children and we lived paycheck to paycheck. So trying to do something extra for me was either a second job or maybe buying a $200 lawnmower and mowing people's yards. It was just running a sports camp. It was very difficult to get overhead because traditional businesses that can really do well have a large startup. I mean, even the basic franchises now are several $100,000. A McDonald's is several million. And a home-based business is generally anywhere from 0 to a couple thousand. Our particular business we're going to talk about today has a basic startup of $24.95, about $400 worth of product. Can be as much as $2,000 if you want to start at a top level. But think about that compared to traditional business. Chris, how much did it cost you to start your manufacturing company? And by the way, one last thing, Chris had a manufacturing company that stonewashed blue jeans, Lee and Levi's. Matter of fact, if you ever wore in your past stonewashed blue jeans, you're looking at the guy who did it. He had the exclusive rights to some very large carriers out there. Chris has now been in a home-based business for 19 years. He has great perspective on the two different industries. So, Chris, tell us a bit about that.
Well, Todd, when you start a business, and I could talk about other businesses as well as far as startup cost, because most people talk about my stonewashed blue jean factory because I made millions of dollars. But let me assure you, that's the risk versus return. I also own 2 dry cleaners. I know you've got some folks on here that were in the dry cleaning business up in Virginia, but I had 2 dry cleaners at one time, but I never made any money. It cost me $500,000, and that's I'd be right at $500,000. I was $480,000 in 1980 to start that, and 5 years later had never made a profit, and I sold out, and so I'd spent 5 years. So a lot of times people fail to realize that it has a lot to do more than just how much it costs to get started. It has to do with your risk factor. So if you spend $100,000 or $200,000, that's no insurance that you're actually going to win. You're going to make it, and so that's why it really frustrates me when people give a hard time to our industry, because it's about your effort. And that's what most people forget. And it takes time and effort to build a business. And it doesn't matter whether it's home-based or it has brick and mortar. It's just the way it works.
Which Chris leads us there into the next category, and that is the time until you turn a profit. There are definitely people in our business that don't turn a profit. But their fear of loss, if you came in at the top level, a couple $1,000s, the fear of loss in traditional business is your house, your cars, your property, everything that you mortgage to get into business. And generally in a traditional business, it's a couple years. Here, if a person works, they do have to work, as you just said, but it's from home. It's at your pace, when you want to, how you want to, the pace you want to. But guys, here literally you can turn a profit here your very first week in the company. There's a new guy I was just talking to in South Nashville, and he was telling me just the other day, he signed up the week the country shut down, signed up at our highest level, and has already got all of his money back, turned a profit. He has all the products to boot. No employees here at all, Chris. How big a deal is the no employee one?
Well, if you've never had employees, you won't understand how serious that is. I mean, at my case, at the peak, we were over 450 employees. And it just meant constant headache and also stress because, I mean, you had to collect and you had to make payroll. There's one thing those people weren't going to do is come to work without it. But Todd, I want to reiterate what you said about that's where people miss the boat and misunderstand our industry. And that is that when you get started here, you know, the amount of investment, you know, you feel like it's not like you mortgaged your house. And that's where I think some people miss the understanding. When I started my businesses, I didn't have a choice but to show up and work 10 and 15 and 20 hours a day. Because if I didn't, I lost my home. And that's what I love about this business, because an average person with and I use it very clearly, with an above average want to. Why? Is what you told me. Todd actually trained me in this industry. And the one thing he told me in the early stages is, why was I going to do this? And I've heard people say that many times, and that's what really changes. And I wanted my time freedom back. And so that's why I love what we do.
So, Chris, if you'll go a couple slides there, at one point you used to have a manufacturing facility, but on the next slide, you'll see that is your business now. You literally sit there in your Tennessee decorated office and build your business literally around the world, into Australia, into China, throughout all 50 states, Canada, and multiple other countries, literally right here on a Zoom call just like this.
Yeah, and as Todd knows, and a lot of my folks from Arkansas will tell you, I'm not real high tech. But it doesn't take an expert to do a little basic fundamentals or just plug into someone else that's running it. But yeah, I never dreamed that I could build a business of this size. I was thinking about that, Todd, when you're probably going to bring this up later, but when we introduced that product just the couple of days ago, and I watched me sitting here with a fire built on my, outside because it was chilly, watched my income dramatically that week. It was amazing. And it's all because of building a network around the world with people who wanted to make a difference. And that's really what it all comes down to. You can do a lot of special things from home. I love that picture you picked out, Todd. It's like I'm talking, that's for sure.
Yeah. So on the next slide there, a home-based business, it can take, the picture of a lot of different things. But guys, in our home-based business, we literally can do advertising through social media, which is, by the way, traditional advertising in the marketplace, their preferred place now. We can share our products. Really what we are at our company, we're going to explain it thoroughly in just a second. The company manufactures some of the best products in the world. We'll get to that in a minute. But what you and I are in, Chris, we're in distribution. And if you study business, people in distribution make generally more money than anybody else in the whole arena, because we don't have any overhead involved. We're just connecting the consumer to the product and getting a set percentage of that. And Chris, we're two guys. I was a football coach. I had no business experience, but on the next screen there, you'll see Andrea Rossier. She's out in Colorado. Andrea, tell us your story. You didn't have you didn't own a manufacturing company. You're a mama, and you'd been in a traditional workforce. Talk to us about your transition into a home-based business.
Oh, well, gosh, it's always so interesting to see yourself up here. So thanks for having me on here. Yeah, I came from actually just a traditional desk job. Worked in my career for quite some time, but as you can see from those pictures, I have 2 kiddos, and I was really tired of everybody raising them but me, and never seeing them, kissing foreheads, and that would be my quality time as they were asleep. And I actually was looking for a way out, didn't know what it was, and ended up getting laid off from my job. And it was terrifying. I provide for them, so I needed to work, I needed an income. But right about that same time, I had somebody reach out to me about this, and I decided to jump on board. And I admit I didn't see the big picture in the beginning. I just saw a way to bring in some grocery money, and I jumped on board for that, and it actually changed every aspect of my life, because it's been about almost 9 years now that I have been home full time with those little monkeys. And we've been able to do a lot together that I never thought would be possible. And all because of this industry and phenomenal mentors. And yeah, so this is what I do full time now. I get to be with my kids and help people on the side. So it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, so on the next screen, you'll see the comparison between your current job and the home-based business, which we're in direct sales, which I think is the greatest of all home-based businesses. But in that third column there, Andrea, when you used to work for somebody, you had a limited income. And today in your home-based business, you have an unlimited income. I know because Brent's told me that you're a 5-figure a month earner. And I'm not sure if your old employer was paying you $10,000 a month. They might have been, but it would be unusual if they were.
I think you needed.
Well, I don't know if there was a question there or not, but no,
Yeah.
the big thing with the old employers, they owned me. So if they told me that I needed to be in Arizona when my daughter had a ballet recital, I was in Arizona. So they might have compensated me, but it didn't take the place of my family. So that for me is just being able to control my schedule, being able to not have a limit and wait for a raise and that kind of thing has been an absolute game changer.
Yeah, and Andrea, one last thing, because I was a football coach at the high school level, just like Brent. Brent and I tracked similar paths, except he was smart enough to become a principal. They told me don't even apply. So I didn't get to go that route. So we're going to get to hear from the smarter coach here in just a second. But Andrea, that bottom one is what you just alluded to. It sounds like you had a good salary with your previous employer, but they controlled your life. As a high school football coach, I loved what I did. Although I put enormous amounts of time in it, there was never a second I didn't enjoy. But the problem was I did not control my income. I was very limited I was very finite amount of money I could make. So for you, the freedom, I hear Chris talk about that all the time. He made a couple $1 million a year in his manufacturing business, but he had no freedom. He was always having to, even when he took off, there was, his cell phone was on, or back then the landline, when the employees screwed something up or a machine broke or some product didn't come in. So there was just so much worry. Any comment you or Chris either want to make on that?
Well, for me, Todd, that you just hit it on the head is that when you're running a business like that, and I'm sure Andrea had the same problems when you're always, in her case, it was performance for her. She had to have a certain amount of performance, and hers was to the employer, and I was the employer. My problem was mine was I had the problems of the people, like you mentioned, Lee Jeans and Wrangler Jeans and all those major companies I was doing work for. I mean, I was on call for them whenever they called, and I had to, if they decided they were coming in from New York, it didn't make any difference what I had planned. Could be a baseball game was for my son. It didn't matter. If they were there from New York, it meant go to the plant and be there with them because they were spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars per month with me. So it was just hard to explain to somebody unless you've had that much stress and pressure. I thought it was wonderful. Looking back on it, I thought I owned my own business. I was owned by the customers and I was owned by my bank. That's who really owned it, not me.
So Chris, if you'll skip 2 slides forward, the last point I'm going to make before I get into exactly what we're doing from home is all home-based businesses are not created equal. There are businesses you can do from home, but you're still making money based upon production daily. You yourself, you don't have any leverage nor residual income associated with it. In our business, we have both. We are able to build a large business, not of employees, but of independent contractors and distributors just like us. But Chris, maybe the most important piece of the puzzle is we're able to build a residual income, an income stream that, Chris, if you want to take off next month when the world starts to open back up and go to the islands for 30 days to recover from being quarantined inside your house, none of us realized how both good and bad that can be. I think we've all learned a lot, both directions, sitting still for a little while, but residual income's a really nice thing.
I don't know that I've learned that the power of residual for some time has made such a difference. When I was manufacturing, I can assure you, getting collected at the end of that was not an easy task. Lee didn't pay me very easily after they didn't need me. Residual income, and they didn't pay me for doing any jeans after I stopped, no matter how many millions I did. The difference in residual income is that once you do the work once, that doesn't mean every single person is going to stick with you, but you'll build a group of people that are like-minded that you work together with. And what happens is you start to use products that fit their needs, and people start to love certain things. And what begins to happen is you build a group of customers. What is it? Mark Wilson calls it for end consumers. And then we just collect that residual income. This morning, as we all know, was for us, was the end of the week last night at midnight Mountain Standard Time. And this morning, there was already money ready to be made. I mean, I didn't do anything. These people were buying products on auto ship and things that they were purchasing. And it just really, until you've experienced it, truly, an insurance guy gets it because they get renewals. But the problem with them is as soon as they quit that insurance company, they lose their renewals. With us, I don't think people really realize the power of being with a good network marketing company that will allow you to build an income stream that you own, that you could sell. My kids, I know right now that my children and grandchildren will reap benefits for what I've done these years. How much of it? I can't say that exactly what the numbers will be, but I can promise you this, more than somebody else is leaving their kids. So that's my love residual.
So let's get right into that. What do we do? As I mentioned earlier, we're in distribution. If you think about it, I'm going to show you a slide in a second on Amazon. Amazon doesn't really make anything. Walmart doesn't make anything. Walmart's the old traditional model of distribution.
No, those are not comfortable.
I have to mute us out again, Chris.
Try it.
Oh God, I'll suffocate.
All right, great. I love working from home. It's always real. All right, so Walmart, we used to have to walk in the storefront and buy a product. Amazon moved it that now all we got to do is with our smartphone is figure out what we want. It'll be at our house in a day, 2 or 3. So that's what we do. We're in the 2020 going forward time frame of distribution. We are connecting consumer to product. And what products might you ask? Well, guys, we have it all. If people are spending money on it, we either already have it or we'll be having it in the future. We are a house of brands. So what are those brands? We've got nutrition, the best in the world. We're not going to go into our quality today, but I'll just tell you it is far superior to anything you can imagine. We have weight loss. We have meal replacement shakes. We have energy drinks. We have a division of clean air filtration systems and water. And as we saw happen 48 hours ago, we just launched our newest product, a household disinfectant that literally kills all viruses. And because we're a distribution model, we didn't have to go make the product. We had somebody that had been developing it for years bring it to us. We stuck it in the distribution model in a time of need. And bam, all of us out here that have distribution networks were paid on a product somebody else invented in Florida a decade ago. Unbelievable. We have essential oils. We have skincare, multiple skincare divisions. We have everything from toothpaste to shampoos to conditioner. And those brands are growing, which leads me to our next guest. We'll go one screen forward. There on our next guest, Brent Palmer. Brent Palmer from the state of Alabama, a former high school football coach, just like me, really almost on borrowed money, both of us living below our paycheck to paycheck level. We're able to get in this business and change our lives. So, Brent, I'm going to turn it to you and let you talk about the brands. And Chris kind of walk through the next 2 slides for him.
Ahead of me monitoring my activity. How do you balance this out here?
Is it
I completely
Can you hear me okay?
We got you loud and clear now, Brent. Fire away.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thanks for having me to the call. And I'll tell you kind of mine and my story really quick is I was a high school football coach, just like you, Todd. I went on to be a principal and an athletic director. We've got kids of our own. We've taken 2 boys in to live with us, twin 15-year-old boys. And my dad was a traditional business owner that raised me under the knowledge of saying,
with people that were violating the law.
He raised me under the knowledge of saying, Brent, make sure as you go into adulthood, you dig your well before you're thirsty. And what I found myself,
they don't have to worry about
was I had not dug my well before I was thirsty. And here's what I mean by that. I was a principal. I was an athletic director. I'd been a head football coach. But at the end of the month, there was always more bills than money. And I found myself $20,000 in credit card debt. That's how I found this industry. So when people ask me all the time, they said, why are you doing this? I said, because I'm broke. And I know if a change is going to happen in my life, I've got to make it doing something different. to get me to where I want to go. And so I wanted that another stream of income coming in. So we started building this business, and within about 3 months, I was making enough money to pay for the mortgage of my home, about $1,500 a month. And I was blown away when I first saw that I could do this in my spare time on the side and drive another income stream in, not taken away from what I was already doing. And I was hooked, Todd, at that point. At that point, I saw, man, I'm going to have a job in 3 years. I'm going to have a job in 5 years. What if I do this on the side and over time create something? It took me about 12 months to pay off that $20,000 credit card debt. And from there, I just ran. You know, and I look back, I've been blessed in this industry to earn millions of dollars today, almost a decade later. But now for me, it's what we're doing today. It's educating people,
All these
talking to people on
disruptive, these lines of communication that have been upended, all these different ways that we can start applying this technology. And it's not just these drones of speakers. We're talking about drone delivery as well. Now we have the ability to do things like that and provide medicine to people in need. And around the world, on the other side of the world, we have American companies.
Sorry about that, Brent. Hey, Chris, you might have to
The same thing in
disconnect
the
that
US, and
particular
that's
person.
just, that's absurd, because we need to
I
do whatever it
kicked them
takes
off
right
the,
now to get these medical supplies into the hands
platform.
of the people that need it the most. And whatever it takes
Todd,
to
I'll
do
say
that,
this.
you've got to do it.
You can hear me okay?
Appreciate your expertise. Thank you so much.
There's something going on. There's something going on with Zoom right now. So it might not be Chris.
No, we see it. It's actually a lady named Debbie. So if you're Debbie and you can hear us, your phone keeps unmuting on us. So we may have to disconnect you completely. Go ahead, Brent. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So my thing here now is just, it's what you said earlier, Todd. You know, what makes this industry so beautiful is that this is not taking you away from what you're already doing, and you can create something that just like Chris said earlier. You know, I look up today and I go, we just launched a home detox disinfectant that kills viruses. And I watched not only my income, but I watched people in my organization's income just skyrocket this week. And it's really unique when you think about the power of people and the purchasing power of people. And when you connect yourself into that, this is one of the best kept secrets that people, you know, when they open their mind and they see the possibilities, it's just, if they knew what I knew about this, they would already be in doing this. So I'll turn it back to you, Todd.
Hey, Brent, go ahead, another slide up there, Chris. On these next two slides, because of what we do in distribution, we're literally getting in the middle of trillions of dollars. You see there, the health and wellness is a $4 trillion combined world out there. Energy drinks, Brent, you've got a lot of experience with the energy drink world. You've been in it now for a number of years in distribution, a $55 billion industry. I'll never forget when I saw one of the energy drink companies sell years ago for like $4 billion. I woke up, saw it on my news. I was like, $4 billion? It just started like 6 years ago. Weight loss alone, and there's varying numbers on this. I've heard higher than 200 billion. But there on the next screen, we just keep on going into the skincare, into the personal care. Brent, it's pretty amazing to get in the middle of all of these industries with one single company from home.
Yeah, blows my mind. I mean, when I saw RX and their concept of the house of brands, when you can look at people and say, listen, we're not asking you to spend more money. We're just asking you to understand the concept of, you're already spending money on these products. Find the products you're already spending money on and just take that money you're spending, redirect it into these house of brands with the RX company and the opportunity. And you literally have a business that you can grow and a residual income you can tap into. And to realize, Todd, that they're just going to continue to beef up the house of brands and continue to bring us more and more brands that are backed by science, that are the best in the world. Just absolutely blows my mind. That's why right now is the right time, right place to be in this with us.
The tip of something bigger than Amazon. This is massive, guys. It is a new form of distribution. And Dr. Ginger, she is a PhD chiropractor. She used to teach at the Hippocrates Institute. She used to have her own chiropractor practice. She was one of our president's personal nutritionists, our current president at Mar-a-Lago. She just has a unbelievable life. And but she has a couple of perspectives. One is she used to be a traditional chiropractor. Now she's able to help people at home with the same knowledge that she accumulated. But the other perspective that she has is in our particular company is you get to choose what you love. And she is an expert on holistic nutrition, on helping people help themselves when it comes to disease and sickness. So Dr. Ginger, talk a little bit about your transition from the traditional world with your knowledge bank and into the home-based world with your knowledge bank.
Well, it's really night and day. I absolutely love what I do now because I still get to do what I was doing before. That is change lives, teach people about health, get them healthier, get them taking charge of their own health. But I get to do it from home. There's no overhead. I don't have to sit in traffic. I have my own time and I can adjust when I work with people around my own schedule. So I really feel like, it's the golden ticket because not only from a financial side, but also from the product side. And I know this isn't a product talk, but I'm involved heavily with the products and helping to formulate. And I can tell you they are some of the cleanest, meaning non-toxic, meaning not using chemicals, products on the market. And people are paying attention to those things today. So I really feel like we've got the golden ticket with both sides of the coin, but being able to work from home and making a doctor's salary, it just doesn't get any better than that. And still being able to truly change lives.
Yeah, so Ginger, another question along those lines, because when you get into distribution, you have choices on what you distribute. We here at our company, we distribute some of the cleanest, well-made products in all divisions that exist on planet Earth. And because you're on that scientific advisory board, along with 60 other doctors, you're one of the top out there. You have just a huge base on development. Tell us just a bit more about the quality of the products that we're distributing.
So we have a scientific advisory board that's about 6 people, different physicians from medical doctors to holistic dentists. I'm a chiropractor. We have a naturopath. Different viewpoints coming together with a common goal. But then we also have a wellness council. And these are literally hundreds of people all over the world that help to contribute and give us feedback on popular things that maybe aren't so clean in terms of ingredients, or maybe some health challenges that need some help. And so I love the Wellness Council as well as an Athletes Council, so the products in the end really have contribution from so many people out in the field that truly care and truly align with our no compromise philosophy when it comes to ingredients.
Yeah, so Ken Bailey, as we look at this picture here, Ken was in the IT world, mainly in banking. But Ken, one of the greatest things about this, we get to work from home. We don't develop product. Ginger's on both sides. She's in product development and she's in the home-based business side of it. So she has to do some extra work. But for the majority of us out here, we get to benefit from her knowledge of developing the products. But then we get to benefit from the 7 people that put this model together, a company that they call RX, and we get to benefit from their ability with their 100+ years of business experience to get us infrastructures and offices and distribution centers throughout the world. Ken, tell us about your background and tell us how the company's put together. Ken, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I just did the best speech ever, Todd, and you just missed it. Sorry. But yeah, Todd, first of all, everybody, happy Easter. Don't forget the reason we're celebrating. And Brent said it blows my mind what's going on. I know that's a small explosion, but it blows my mind just what we're blessed to have hold of here. And great job, Todd, on picking those flattering pictures for everybody. But, Todd, my background, I'm from, look at there, see that great picture, right? But I'm from Southern West Virginia. Todd was an IT guy, computer guy for about 16 years. Started working part-time, was introduced to the industry 20 years ago. And 2 years into it, had replaced my income, went full-time, blessed now 18 years ago. And the greatest part about it for me, Todd, and everybody's touched on it today, is the residual income aspect. Residual income leads to time freedom and having the time to control our own life. And you covered all of that. But, you know, something I want to point out too, Todd, we're talking about how great home-based businesses are right now. But, you know, not every home-based business is great right now. It goes into the brilliance of these owners that you just talked about and having the house of brands, the brand strategy. I mean, can you imagine if all we had now was travel? I mean, we wouldn't be doing very well. Or if all we had now was hair products or makeup or clothing. There's one big company that just does clothing. I would say their business is probably doing half what they used to. Everybody's ordering tops, but no bottoms, right? So we're in the right company because of the leadership, because of the brand strategy. Not only do we have that brand strategy, we can release products within whatever brand is in demand at the time, which we just did on Thursday with the disinfectant. And by the way, folks, that's not the last products that's going to be announced at a strategic time. So wait, there's more, okay? And they're going to continue to do that. We know of some products that are on the shelf right now waiting for the right time to be released. So it's brilliant what the company's done, and it goes back to the ownership with 7 different owners, Todd, with over 150 years of experience that's put this together for us. We're so blessed. And you're muted.
We've got offices now in 24 countries. We're shipping. I actually was preparing for this PowerPoint. I was looking into a shopping cart, and there were so many countries we can ship to now. The shopping cart, I couldn't believe I hit an area I'd never hit before. I couldn't believe Armenia. There was a number of countries there I didn't even recognize that we're now shipping products into, literally from home. So let's talk a little bit about how we do this.
By the way, Todd, you don't even have to know how to spell. Look at that. It says lost weight right in the middle. And you can still do this.
Hey, I already told you they weren't going to put me up for principal. They just wanted me to win football games. So I was built for a home-based business because I don't have anybody in management looking over me. Love it. All right. So what do we do here? We do 2 separate things from home. One is this list of 100+ products through 9 different divisions. We find the ones we love, and some of them we use ourselves. Some of us want to be healthier. Some of us want to lose weight. Some of us want more energy. Some of us want to sleep better at night. Some people want to look prettier. Some people want their skin to be softer, their hair, you name it. There's so many things that can benefit ourselves. And when we find things that we love, you're going to see in a second, we can create a little smart link, send them a product, and they can buy it from us. We don't have to ship it. We don't have to touch it. We don't have to do anything. But if we go back one screen there, Chris, back to the 4 people, guys, the other thing we do is we are looking for people just like us. That's the reason some of you have been sent this video today, is that we're looking for people that want to be a home-based business owner, that want to get into distribution, not just the usage size. Remember, we have 2 things. We have customers that use our products. We have distributors that use and distribute our products. So we're looking for as many of those people as we want to. Our model calls for finding 4. I thought no better to explain how to find other people than go to a guy who is personally responsible for recruiting himself individually over 100 home-based business owners that he's put into business and helped start changing their lives. He has businesses now. He literally lives in Michigan. But Aaron has helped grow businesses now into Australia. He has them growing in China. He has them growing throughout Canada. I would think he's in all 50 states. I saw some of his superstars a second ago, John and Christy Oakey in Omaha, Nebraska. So Aaron, talk to us a bit about how did you find these quality people? How did you get people started in a home-based business?
Well, Todd, first of all, you know, when you say home-based business, your home can be anywhere that you're at, right? So yes, you get to work from home, but you also get to work from anywhere in the world that you are. So anytime that I'm out, I'm always curious about people. You know, years ago when I got started in this industry, my mentor said, one thing I can tell you is always be curious, always ask questions, always connect with people. And so, you know, you find that we have a lot of common a lot of things in common with a lot of people. But in that conversation, if it comes up, what do you do? Always have a good answer, but then find out if they have a need. If they have a need, then all I do is just find a way that I can help fulfill that need.
Chris, if you'll move forward for just a couple of slides. Guys, so you're sitting there, you're talking to people. Let's talk a little bit. So first slide here, let's talk about how do you show people how to be a home-based business owner? Well, on the next screen, you'll see that literally you just have to become an inviter. Who in the world do you know besides yourself that would like to have a home-based business? You can invite them. If you go backwards one screen, Chris, you can invite them onto our RX webinars. They run 2 times a day, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. We have Saturday morning trainings, and then we have a coach's call with Brent Palmer, who you heard earlier, on Sunday night to get everybody trained up. It's just a unbelievable platform. And then there are tons of people in your business that will be a part of helping you do individual webinars for people. There are also, if you go forward just a couple of slides there, Chris, there's also a website called researchmoa.com. And on researchmoa.com, there is a video called Be Transformed. Now, it gets specific into our transformation pack, which constitutes some superfoods, some weight loss, and some energy that really helps transform people's lives from a health standpoint. There are going to be a lot of other videos on this website to include the one you're watching, some of you live right now. So you can kind of pick which one you want people to see. When you scroll down that website, Chris, on the next couple slides, you'll see videos there that explain why RX. You know, there's lots of different home-based businesses, but what makes this company different? You're going to see one of the best-selling authors of all times explain why RX is so different. And then you're also going to see, as you keep going there, that you can go to the RX YouTube channel. There are over 250 videos on the RX YouTube channel. So you may find a particular product that we haven't even discussed individually. You may want our CoQ10, or you may want an omega-3, or you may want our world's only breathable roll-on mask. Here's your resource center. You'll be able to go there. You'll be able to pick a video of your choice of a product you want to sell to a person, and just send them the YouTube link. They watch that particular video. And you'll see there on the next page, Chris, that there are just a ton of them. Goes through our, as Ginger was talking about earlier, our manufacturing practices, all kinds of great things there. And if you keep on going, Chris, we'll get now to another stay-at-home mom coming to us from North Carolina. She was a nurse at a hospital when she had her first child. And like a lot of mamas, that when they have their first child, they don't like going to work as much as they used to. They want to be there for that little child that they just brought onto the earth. Well, anyway, Susan at that time frame found her home-based business. She's made over $1 million, significantly more than $1 million in her home-based business. She's no longer a nurse, and you can see since that time frame, about 8 years ago, her family has expanded rapidly. Susan, if you can hear us, come tell us a bit about your story.
Hey, Todd, thanks for having me, and great job to all that have spoke so far. It's just been a true blessing. I was praying for something to help us financially so I wouldn't have to work 12-hour days, and I didn't have a clue it was this. I didn't have a clue it was this industry, but it's been such a blessing. And to see what's going on and to be able to help people's health and bring people an income stream from home that are willing to put the effort in. And just, it didn't matter my last name. It didn't matter my background. It didn't matter what anybody's done in the past. It just matters you have a want to and are willing to go help the next person, and that they have a want to go help the next person. And it's just pay it forward at the best.
Yeah, and Susan, you're one of the best. Chris, if you'll go to the next screen, you're one of the best at getting people started. You're another person that has sponsored 100 plus home-based business owners throughout North Carolina and now throughout the world. You're the one that sponsored Steve Teglis, who created the next 56 days, and to help now tens of thousands of people help their own selves from a health standpoint. I think there's maybe about 90 doctors now in a 3-county area around where you are that are referring lifestyle patients over to Steve's next 56 days to to combat obesity and high blood pressure and other things through improved nutrition and eating habits. So, Susan, you're great at getting people started. And in our business, we talked about it in the very beginning, you can get started here with a basic transformation pack of about $400 on the low end of a home-based business. It's $24.95 for your distributorship, and then it's a couple of months of products of your choice. We love the transformation pack because most people want to transform from a health standpoint, more energy, less inflammation, lose weight. Those kinds of things come with that. And then, Susan, the reason I want you to talk about it, because you like people starting at the bigger pack. There is what we call a large transformation pack that's $2,000. It comes with some extra business stuff. I don't want to scare anybody away. You can start here at $400 and go create millions from home if you're a hard worker. You can also upgrade at any point. But Susan, why do you like people starting with the bigger pack?
Well, the way I looked at it when I started this business, I could either work more and make less or work less and make more. And with the bigger pack, you're able to work less and make more. And if I wanted to rep a company, then I wanted to try or have somebody try every single thing they had. So that's why I absolutely love that big pack. So people can start off being a product of the product, get some people on the products, and start creating those transformation stories.
And we talked about the monthly overhead in traditional business. And that's really, I know this will date out into time, but at the current making of this video, we're in the quarantine that we've all living through live right now. It'll be in our history, hopefully, when a lot of you are watching this. But traditional businesses, although they're not able to open, many of them still have employees on payroll. They have overhead. They have electric bills. They have, some of them, tens of thousands of dollars of overhead running against them. All of us have no overhead. Our only overhead here is a customer a month. It's a lot of times ourselves, because we love the product so much, that spends at least $150 on products. So, Susan, talk about your auto ship, how you did it, what you like, how much yours is. But the requirement's only $150, and how people can do that. And that's the only requirement from an overhead standpoint.
Well, being I have a family of 6, mine is unusual, and we make great money here. So being healthy is priority. But I've been sitting here through this drinking Given Greens. So where else could I sip on 2 pounds of greens while I sit here on a Zoom drinking healthy water that saved our family a ton of money on bottled water and helping the environment. So you can't beat that. We love the Optimals for optimal health, the MOA. I can't do without Rejuvenex. This mama needs some energy. And now with the energy drinks coming aboard, it's just a win-win all the way around. And not to make medical claims, but I had asked Dr. Strand, I have terrible migraines since I was in high school, what would he recommend? And he said the ingredients in Phenoli. And I now haven't had a migraine headache in 6 years. So with that, that's been life-changing and worth everything of being a part of RX.
Hey, Susan, there's I'm not going to be able to answer a lot of questions, but I think that's a great question. How did you get so many people in your business? Was the question I just saw pop up.
Well, when I started, I felt like I wanted to go save the world. Like I had something to go make a difference. And I really thought everybody was coming with me. So my confidence, my excitement, and just not being afraid to pick up the phone and call the next person. I didn't hide behind text. I didn't hide behind anything. I just picked up the phone. I talked to some people that I haven't talked to since elementary school. And I was just like, hey, I found the opportunity of a lifetime. It's helping me. It can help you too. You've got to check this out. And I didn't just send them to a link, but I stayed on the phone with them while they went to the site and got them to look at it. And through the video, I was like, can you believe that? Oh my goodness. And I really feel like it was my excitement of how their life could be improved. I had a cousin that wanted a new house, and I was like, I found your front door. Here you go. You got to get this started when I handed her the form. And just asking people to join me, because if they didn't join me, their life could absolutely never be improved.
Yeah, you said a couple of real magical things there that I think are really important. And my favorite saying always is, a dog will never chase a parked car. People that are excited, people that share their excitement with whatever product's making a difference in their life, or people that share their excitement of building a residual income from home, generally have more success than the ones that don't share it. That's a pretty simple rule in this home-based business model, isn't it, Susan?
Absolutely. And even to look at this week that we have a cleaner that can help people be more safe with everything that's going on and benefit from that. And I have people that didn't even share that they had it available. Even if it's going to take a couple weeks to get it, you still have it, and people still need to be clean and clean their house and their environment. So it's all in how you look at things, and you got to turn your head to positive and always look at the positive outlook of everything, and your life will forever be changed.
Yeah, and guys, this morning we had planned on covering some of the pay plan, but it's already a little long, so you can always go to myrxtraining.com, myrxtraining.com, and see the entirety of how you get paid in your home-based business. But in our last 10 minutes, I want to flip it back to you, Chris. Let's go to the last screen there, and let's talk to a 30-year financial advisor. Besides the residual income, besides controlling your time, besides the unlimited amount of income you can make here, you can make millions per year if you put a $1 million effort and build a $1 million distribution network into time. But on top of that, the tax benefits are enormous. My dad is a 30-year CPA, and I'll never forget the first year I got involved in network marketing on borrowed money from him in my new home-based business, that I didn't make very much money. I wasn't very good at it. There was a learning curve that I had to go through, but I did have some expenses from travel and from buying a few meals and a little office I turned into a room I turned into a home-based office. I was able to write off against my teacher's earnings, and I got more back from my taxes that year than I'd ever gotten. And of course, my knowledge bank has grown since then, but I want to turn it over to the expert that's been dealing with it in his profession for 30 years. So Chris, you and Mark, take it away.
Okay, thank you, Todd. And as we bring Mark Thomas on, we really appreciate Mark being with us. He's, as he already Todd said, 30-year financial planner, who's also a guy that's been around the network marketing industry a long time. But I'm going to also tell a story. Todd mentioned his tax story. Guys, we talked about the fact that I was in the manufacturing business and I was making millions of dollars. My accountant set me up a home-based business. That home-based business was never designed to make a profit. We knew it wasn't going to make money, but we set up a home-based business that was a legal business that I could write off, and it helped support my fun, I guess is a way to describe it, because I was a duck hunter. And I just want to make sure you understand that the government set this up so that you can take advantage, and it's good for the government because you have these home-based businesses. So it's something that is a part. It's not you take. Some people want to act like we're cheating on our taxes. That's not what this is about. It's about taking advantage of what is set up for, I call it the rules. I think Mark likes to call it that. Learn what the rules state if you're going to learn how to make money. So Mark, I'm going to just turn this to you and let you, I know you're kind of prepared for this, and talk to people about some different ways. And, you're not a tax, we know that you're not an accountant, so we can say that, but you're just an advisor.
Hey, Chris, you got me right?
Yep, you're up.
Thank you so much. Listen, guys, back when you first join into a life insurance / financial planning business, you have to be different in order to make it in this game that I've been in for 30 years, because I wanted to stay in it. So I wanted to be different. And so that's the reason why I immediately, after doing some consulting with my mentor, I started learning all the tax benefits of home-based businesses. So when I was out going to visiting with a school teacher or factory worker or whatever, my deal was, hey, look, if I could show you how to get an extra $200 to $300 a month, increasing your net take-home pay at your current job without asking your boss for pay raise, would that be an interest to you? And of course, it's always yes. And I said, now, if you would take half of this increase, and I'm going to show you, and put it toward your additional retirement plan with me, will you do that? And if you would, I'll consult with you. So I started working with people like with Amway, for example. I mean, I didn't know what network marketing was, but I did know Amway, and I didn't join Amway. I've never been in Amway, but I did tell people about, look, the best home-based business to get into was some type of an income base that would create residual income. And because I understood that one for sure. So let's get into just some of the tax strategies. And I'm just not going to tell you about the tax strategies. I'm also going to tell you of how to work them, because that was my biggest deal. I said, well, look, how come I can't pay my 6-month-old daughter to work in my business when Pampers was paying that baby to be on the Pampers commercial? So I was always curious about how that happened, because the IRS rules says that the child's got to be somewhere around the age of 7 in order to work in your business. And so I started doing a tremendous amount of research and realized that I took a picture of my daughter, 6 months old, and that was our youngest daughter, put her on my business card, and at that time paid her a $3,000 royalty fee for the use of her picture. Now that was 100% tax deduction from my business, and it was 100% tax free with them. But guess what happened to my business when I started handing out my business cards with my baby daughter on there? Oh, it had nothing to do about life insurance. Everything, the conversation turned to talking about my daughter. And so therefore my sales increased dramatically. And so that's how I was able to pay my children before the age of 7. Now, once they get the age of 5 to 7 years old, the IRS rule says that you can pay them to work for you. And here's how you've got to really put them to work. It's important to teach your children proper work ethics. Okay. And so when I determined how much I could pay them per hour, is all I did was I called down to the hiring place, where, you call to get like part-time help. And I'd say, hey, look, if I was going to hire somebody from you to come and do some filing for me at this hiring agency, how much would you charge me per hour? I'll never forget the woman told me $18 an hour. And I said, well, can you fax that to me? Now you would email it or scan it. But I said, can you fax that to me? Because see, I put that in my file, and there's how I proved the IRS that I'd rather pay my child that $18 per hour than I would some stranger coming into my home. And so speed up forward here in 2020, let's look at what the IRS says that you can pay your child to work for you. And folks, don't get caught up in, well, I can't even afford to pay my own bills, because see, the IRS doesn't tell you or your children how to spend your money, right? So even back when I was hiring my children when they was at home, I couldn't afford to pay them what I was paying them. So therefore, I paid them for their work, but I made them pay the electric bill. I made them sit down and pay the car payment. I made them sit down and pay for the car insurance. I made my oldest daughter, when she got her speeding ticket, when she realized how much that increased her insurance, because she was paying for it when she was 16 years old. And there's a question that says, does this apply to grandchildren? No, it's only somebody that you're dependent on. And so we educated our kids about the proper way of paying the bills, because I was broke. Hey, employees get paid first, right, Chris? Before the business owner does. And so the day in 2020, if you hired your children, and look, I encourage you, do your own homework, to do your studies, to go talk to a tax attorney, go talk to a CPA. And if they give you an answer that you're not for sure about, ask the question, well, why did you tell me that? Because see, my accountant first told me back in 1990 that, look, Mark, you have to show a profit in 3 to 5 years. And I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute. I'm not making a profit after I pay all these expenses out. So I went and started doing my own case studies. And so I went and pulled up that time was American Airlines. And I seen that American Airlines did not pay a single penny in taxes from 1964, 68 when they got started until 1982, because they had a profit intent. They just kept working. And now they're one of the most successful airlines in the industry. You look at Amazon. Amazon hasn't paid a penny in taxes yet because they're still showing losses every year. But does that mean they're not a legit business? No, they are legit business. They're not a hobby. So if you work the multi-level marketing, home-based business correctly, it can be a huge benefit for you. So get to the nuts and bolts. In 2020, you can pay each child up to $12,200 this year to work for you in your home-based business. And you have to keep a record of them working for you. You have to tell them, give them their job duties. You have to keep up with, how you're paying them. I encourage people to get their own bank account with their kids, and you got to be on that with them as well, and really teach them how to pay bills. Also, though, teach them how to be building their RX business when they get 18 years of age, because when they see that the products that you're buying, okay, your own personal use of your product, in my opinion, is not tax deductible, okay? But product that you're buying and you're giving away is. So during the holidays, don't go down and buy Walmart gifts. Buy from your own store of RX and give that away as a present, as a birthday present, Easter present, whatever it might be. That way, that is a tax deduction for your business because you are building your business. So now if you have 2 children, and you paid them the $12,200 for working for you here in 2020, that's $24,400. If you are in a 20% tax bracket, just 20%, that comes down to $4,880 that you actually put back in your pocket at the end of tax season, if you have enough income from your other job to show all of that, okay? So some of these numbers might be off a little bit for you personally, but I'm just telling you, here is your tax deductions. And at the end of the day, if you take all of your deductions that you're allowed, and all of a sudden you got all the money back that you can get, then you can carry your losses forward for this year. You can carry those losses forward for 5 years. Okay, so that's what American Airlines and that's what Amazon them do, is when they start up businesses, they have such a huge losses that they're carrying these losses forward for 5 years. Same thing in your home-based business that you're currently working right now. You can carry those losses forward for 5 years. So now let's go back to miles. You have 3 different mileage deductions that you can take. You have medical miles, which is 17 cents per mile. Yes, that is correct. You get to deduct 17 cents per mile to go to the doctor, to go to the pharmacist, to go to the chiropractor, wherever you might be going. You just have to document it. If you do charitable work, I was a little league baseball coach, and that was charitable, dude, I'm telling you. But I got 14 cents per mile every time I'd go and practice these kids baseball. And I took the deduction because that was all charitable to nonprofit organizations. But now if you're in business, like here with a home-based business with RX, you get 57.5 cents per mile off on your taxes here in 2020. So for an example, if you just drove a measly 10,000 miles a year on business at 57.5 cents, that's $5,750 tax deduction at a 20% tax bracket. That's $1,150 in actual money back in your pocket. Okay. And so it's important to keep up with these. Now, guys, I'm going to go over just a couple of more of the home-based business strategies, because this is how I built my financial planning business, but also built my network marketing business, because we love going to Hawaii. We've been going to Hawaii for years, and one of our favorite places to go build a business. And so my youngest daughter, her husband's in the United States Marine Corps, and he got stationed over in Hawaii a few years ago, and they have 2 beautiful grandbabies, right? So I wanted to go over to Hawaii and start rebuilding a business. So I ran an ad in the paper. I got a motel room. I took my 2 employees with me, which was my youngest son and my wife. Okay. And I knew the IRS says for every 4 hours of travel time, you don't have to work you get 8 hours off. So in other words, if you travel for 8 hours, drive time or fly time, that means you don't have to go do anything for the next 16 working hours. So if that's 8 hours on Monday, 8 hours on Tuesday. So I had to schedule an appointment on Wednesday morning, and I had to work at least 4 hours that Wednesday. Those are the IRS rules. So I scheduled a seminar over there, And lo and behold, I didn't have a single person to show up. Not one. It's upsetting because I spent about $500 and I didn't have a single person to show up. Now, while I was there, though, I got to go see my grandbabies, got to see my daughter, my son-in-law, and I ended up working. I was contacting people while I was there that I had, that I ran into or whatever. But guess what happened to me 6 months later? I'd done it again. We wanted to go back and work in Hawaii. And while we was there working, we was going to take the opportunity to visit our grandbabies. And so I ran another ad, rented a motel room, a small conference room, and I had 4 people to show up. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. During that time that I had, those 4 people that I had showed up, they made me some money. I'm telling you, it was just a breath of fresh air. So see, I wasn't just playing the system, because I'm never going to play the system. That's wrong. I'm a strong religious guy, and I believe in going by the rules that man writes, as long as they're within God's rules. And also believe in what they call the spirit of the law. In other words, you don't want to do something just to be taking a full tax because you want to make money. You want to drive to make money with RX. And at the end of the day, there was a guy on the House Ways and Means Committee. His son and I are good friends. Now, he's retired now, but I asked him, I said, why is it that these businesses have all these tax breaks? And he says, and this is his words: for every tax dollar that an individual can save legally and ethically, that tax dollars will rotate 7 times in the local economy before it goes back to the federal government. So therefore, there's more taxes being paid overall. So you got home office expense, you got office supplies expense that you can write off. You've got equipment. For an example, if you just now join an RX or a home-based business and you bought a laptop computer like within 12 months ago prior to RX, you can do what they call a Section 179 to convert that computer, what you paid, over into your new business. So therefore, it becomes a tax deduction for you. It's called a Section 179. You got software, you've got travel costs, like I was talking about to Hawaii for my family and I. You got marketing and adventures. I mean, look, when we went to the home office and went snowmobiling, that was a tax deduction for us because we was all their own business, right? And so we enjoyed having fun while we're out conducting business. You can deduct your meals and entertainment, but there's guidelines. You got to be at least 50 miles away from your current home in order to write off your meal. Okay. Now, if you got your guest with you, you can write 100% of their meal off. That's perfectly legal within the 50 miles. Okay. So then you got training and education. Guys, when we talk about training and education, I didn't spend 1 penny for college. Didn't go to college. I got out of high school, went to the United States Marine Corps. But I spent $100,000 on training and educating myself since I've come out of the United States Marine Corps. And yes, I got to write all of this off on my taxes because it all pertained to my business and pertained to me to get better in my business. Okay. And you got professional services. If you wanted to hire an attorney, you got health insurance, you got, like I said, travel. There's up to 42 home-based business deductions. There was 47, but I really got in there and started counting them all down. There's 42. So let's go back and just cover end this with the last 3. If you had 2 children and paid both of your children the $12,200 to work for you, and if you drove 10,000 miles and you took those 10,000 miles off for your taxes, and you spent $5,000 this year to go build a business in Hawaii, or build a business in Florida, or go build a business in Yellowstone National Park area, that where that big city is, wherever you might. I'm just at $5,000. Add all that up at a 20% tax bracket. That's actually $7,030 a year that you're going to save in taxes. I'm going to break this down to the month. That's actually $585.83 per month that you're actually saving in your net take-home pay, that's more than enough to cover your home-based business with RX. And yes, if you got questions about, sample products, your sample products is a tax deduction. Okay. So I encourage you to study yourself. I'll be honest with you. I encourage you just to study yourself, because all CPAs and tax attorneys, look, they don't have to do your taxes. There's software out there that does that. And yes, I love TaxBot. I mean, somebody had that question pop up just now. There's a lot of good tax software, mileage software that are out there. Chris, at the end of the day, in order to get ahead in life financially, you have no choice. Guys, I've been in this market for 30 years, and they're not going to let you win, period. Not in your 401k, not in your in your retirement account or whatever. They're not going to let you win. But in order to get ahead in life financially, you've got to keep your daytime job and build your part-time business with RX until you get this income, what I say, double what your income was at your current job. Then if you want to walk away, do it. If you love what you're doing, stay right there where you're at. And I'm one final thought here is that one thing that impressed me about RX that no other company that I'm aware of has ever done is when I first got started out in business, I couldn't go borrow no money from the bank because my tax deductions was so greater than my income. So I showed no income. So the bank wouldn't loan me any money. So right then I went to just a plainly cash basis. I got my house paid off in 7 years. I pay cash for my vehicles. Look, at the end of the day, I told the bankers, I don't need you. I'll figure this game out. But at the end of the day, we do have to borrow money every once in a while. Guys, I want you to listen to what I'm about to tell you here. RX has a lending program that you can borrow money against your income that you're making with RX. Never seen it before in my life with any company out there. So for example, if you've got, if you're making $10,000 a month with RX, you don't have to worry about going to a bank and borrow money. Just borrow it from RX, because then they're going to take it out of your income that you're making here with RX. I've never seen anything like it before in my life. So Chris, final thought is know the rules of the game. And if you know the rules of the game, you got a better chance of winning it. And know this money rule game here with having a home-based business with RX, and join a company, take the leap of faith, understand the taxes, increase your net take-home pay at your current job without asking your boss for a pay raise. You simply by doing that, by reading the back of your W-2, because you can claim either dependents or exemptions. It's on the form. So you can change that from exemptions based on your business that you're spending on your business. And that's how you can get your increase, your net take-home pay. You just got to be careful where you don't owe no money at the end of the year. Chris, it is my honor. It's my pleasure. Folks, I love helping people. I love helping people. So let's go out and change the world. Back to you, Chris.
Mark, thank you so much. And guys, as we finish this call up, we went just a little further than we normally do. We try to get these done in 1 hour. But we had a lot of requests from Mark, and I hope that this helped you with why we're so, I would never do anything else. I see Ken Bailey nodding his head. I don't know what else to say. I mean, my banker actually made the comment to me once, and I love the fact that Mark let you know about the RX lending plan, is that my banker said to me after all these years, she said, you make more money and pay less taxes than anybody I know. And I said, well, is that a good thing? She said, absolutely. I mean, it shows that you have learned how to do that. It's just it's a business strategy. And so,
hey, Chris, I want to bring up one thing real quick. You and I follow everything Mark has said plus more. But I've been audited 3 times over the last 10 years. You've been audited, I know for sure, twice. And all 5 times we've got money back from the government after the audit. They're a headache. I don't wish it on my worst enemy, but we win every time. The reason we do this is very important. Is we keep meticulous records. I don't do a lot of writing, but I put everything on a Platinum American Express card. It itemizes it for me. Ashley keeps up with a lot of the other stuff, keep up with our travel. So everything Mark's saying, don't just do it loosely. you got to keep a track record of it in case they ever do show up and say, show me where you did business when you went to Hawaii. And as long as you've got it, you're 100% good.
Absolutely. That's exactly right. I see Mark doing that when he comes to Jonesboro to eat with us. I watch him mark his tickets down himself, just making sure he's writing off his meals when he's out of town. And that's right. If you've got the good records, and Todd's correct, I've been audited twice, and it was a 3-year span each time. Actually was audited way back, so I guess in network marketing, I've been audited twice, but they did a 3-year span each time. And never had any problems with either one of them because I had what you said, Todd, documentation, things written down, planner, all my receipts. But guys, it's just not hard. Someone said it's a lot of hassle. It's not hard for me to put actually had a guy told me this once. He said, that's a big hassle to write all these receipts down. And I said, would you pick up $2 off the ground if you saw $2 laying there blowing around? Well, yeah, I'd pick up $2. I said, it's no difference. You picking up $2, $3 a time, $2 here and $2 there over a period of a year, those $2 will add up in a big way. So guys, thank you for being here today. Anybody have any last remarks? We're going to next Saturday, Todd, I think we ought to do some training on the pay plan. I think some people asked it. We're hoping we do pay plan. Next Saturday might be pay plan, maybe product.
Yeah, because it's a full hour to do the pay plan correctly. So just plan that. Everybody can promote that. And Ken, Brent, Susan, Aaron, Ginger, do you guys have anything you want to add after we've sat through here for 70 minutes?
No, just thank you, Chris and Todd. Awesome job, everybody. Happy Easter. And by the way, the tax thing, that's just one of the benefits. We don't even talk about it a lot, but there's so many benefits. This is on top of everything else we have.
Perks, perks, perks. Ginger, anybody else?
2 questions I see asked. Mark Thomas is M-A-R-C Thomas on Facebook. M-A-R-C,
no,
not
M-A-R-K.
Okay, my bad. M-A-R-K Thomas on Facebook. My bad. Mark Thomas on Facebook. What town are you in when they're looking for you, Mark?
Well, right now, Facebook's got me shut down because I tried changing my date of birth. It was incorrect. And so I've not been able to get it open back up for 2 weeks. So
I wonder why I couldn't get you tagged in this yesterday. It makes sense to me now. I don't know what's going on. And then I saw another question, but that cracked me up. And I lost my train of thought. I forgot the other question now.
Just a reminder, Todd, everybody, Monday morning, 11 o'clock, the Zooms will restart.
Yep. Yeah, and I think Brent's got one tomorrow night, and they'll run 4 days a week next week, so twice a day. So all you got to do is be like Susan and share your excitement.
Brent, you still words? Brent, anybody else?
I remember the other question now. This is recorded. It will be posted on Research MOA unless we have a problem with YouTube trying to get an hour and 10-minute video up. We'll figure that out. If anybody's good at editing, and we have to cut this into 2, you might reach out to Chris. I'm not sure we can upload an hour and 10-minute video on YouTube or not. So let Chris know how to do it if you know how.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Guys.
Be blessed.
Thanks, guys. Happy Easter.
Thanks so much,
Happy
folks.
Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
Thank you so much.